Hi everyone, I'm Sam with Sam's Mobile Sharpening, and today's video I'm going to take one of my personal kukris, sharpen it, and then we're going to go use it for a bit so that you can see kind of the edge that I put on things. So stay tuned. Alright, so first things first, let's adjust that pulley to the secondary position. And what that's going to do is it's going to make for a more convex grind. And that's good for things like axes, machetes, and in this case, a kukri. And for those of you curious, that little ratcheting screwdriver is one by Klein, and I absolutely adore it. It works fantastic and does everything I need it to. I carry it pretty much everywhere. And make sure, like always, safety. Now we get into the fun of it. I'm starting with a 50 grit just because I haven't sharpened this kukri. So what you see me doing is I'm starting with a 25-degree angle. And that's because I like the chopping ability as well as the edge retention that gives me. And boy oh boy do I love the carbon content in this. It makes for some beautiful sparks. And after a few more passes on each side, once I've got the apex down and correct, then we'll progress on to the next belt. But what I am trying to do right now is get that wire burr at the very edge, and I can see it just starting to form. Alrighty, now it's time for the 120 grit. Typically, I don't use this belt unless it's something that I want a nice toothy edge for. And the reason being on that one is I've found that it's just one extra thing that I have to do. But in this case, I want that toothy edge. So this is the way to go. And we're just doing a few passes on each side so that we can get it to that finish. And then progress on to the next belt. Alrighty, now we're at the 220 grit belt. And this is probably where I'm going to stop, but I actually do one step further. So the 220, I'm wanting that finish on the blade just because it gives a really toothy edge and almost acts like a saw. So it makes for a very reliable outdoors edge. But you can also see that I'm having a little bit of trouble removing that burr. So what I do in the next step is I strop it, because that leather belt really makes a big difference as far as just removing that wire burr. There are many ways to remove a wire burr. Typically, I like to do it just with the belt, but this was proving a little tricky with that 220 for this steel. So I decided, okay, I'm just going to pull out the leather strap and make my life easier. Alrighty, and now I'm throwing on that leather strap. So that strap is impregnated with a green chromium oxide as well as a white buffing compound. The white buffing compound is slowly becoming like my favorite thing. I really enjoy that on a strap. And just in general, that strap is one of my best investments as far as just sharpening. But it really makes quick work of that wire burr. Within a few passes, it's already gone. Like, it was a very visible wire burr that was at the edge of this. So that strap, a few passes on each side, and it comes right off and is just sharp as you can get. Alrighty, so for you curious of what's in the Altoids can, it's rag. It's rag that has ballistol on it, which ballistol is good for like leather, wood, metal, all that kind of stuff. It's really good, and it's eco-friendly, so I enjoy using it just to keep my metal safe. I do it on leather, all kinds of stuff. I really like ballistol. Alrighty, and now it's time to clean up my belts. I do this every time I use my belts. So that little orangish yellow block is kind of like a rubber, but what it does is it helps remove the impurities that are built up in the sanding belt. And they make a big difference as far as, okay, how long it lasts and the cutting that it's able to do. Because I noticed pretty quickly when I've done several knives that it feels like it's not grinding as much. But as soon as I run that block over it, it restores the cutting ability. Eventually, though, the belts do wear out, so I'll have to replace them. But at the same time, if I can get more life out of something with just a little maintenance, you bet I'm going to do it. And now for the fun part. We've got a tree over here that I'll show you shortly that's pretty well dying on the property. So I'm going to start taking it down, but I thought I'd start doing it with the kukri. So see how that goes. Look at that. Just starting to die. Well, let's make good use of it. And the cool thing is there's no nicks, glints, anything along those lines in the blade either. Keeps that edge nice. Go right here too, just for giggles. Only had to do one way that time. And yet again, edge is nice and true. No nicks, glints, or nicks in the blade. Sweet. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. And if you're new here, first off, welcome. And second off, consider subscribing. I do this kind of content, and I'm just going to keep doing more and more of it. So, take care.